Oravec with Lawless Design. We are currently in Brookline right now, checking out our project brick by brick. Come on in. Welcome in. This is the entryway. Before, this was kind of just a drop zone for miscellaneous things, and so what the client asked for when we were having an initial consultation with them was to create an entryway mudroom area where themselves and their kids could take off their shoes, have a little bit more space for storage, and really just be able to have less clutter in here. So one of the things that we added was this bench. We added this half wall here. Originally, it just flowed out. But because of the windows and the lighting in this home, we wanted to be able to maximize the lighting and the daylight as much as possible. So we made a half wall here so that we were given enough space to have a bench. And with the bench, what we did is the kids play sports. So we wanted the shoes and all the equipment and everything to be able to vent out a little bit. So we added these little holes there so that it wouldn't smell, essentially. Part of the other thing that we did is we have a lot of different reclaimed wood throughout the home. That's really important. This home was built in the early 1900s, and so keeping with that kind of rustic character of the home while doing a renovation is really important to us. One of my favorite things about this entryway is the reclaimed bluestone floor that we did in here. As I had mentioned earlier, we used a lot of old reclaimed pieces with character in them. Just because we were doing a renovation on a 100-plus-year-old home, we wanted to bring that oldness and that character into the home again. So this is the living room right off the entryway. One of the things that the client asked for us to do was to design it for their kids, make sure that it was family friendly, and all of the fabrics would be performance fabrics, and so that we wouldn't have to worry about spills or cleanups or anything like that. A big thing with us, especially when working with clients who have young kids and just in general, is health and wellness. And so all the different fabrics and materials that we look to use for upholstery are gonna be natural fiber like cotton, linen, wool. For the sofa, we have this really pretty velvet, and it's made of cotton instead of a synthetic polyester, so it's a little bit more soft to the touch too, which is really nice. This was a custom piece that we had created for us, and then we also flanked it with a couple of different armchairs here and a really nice linen. We added these bookcases in for extra storage because living in a condo in Brookline, there's not much storage here, and so what we wanted to do was maximize the vertical height in here and be able to have the bookcases go all the way up so they have some storage underneath, tuck things away that don't want to be seen, and then have some extra places to store their decor and some of their books and miscellaneous things. The rug is one of my favorites. A bunch of the rugs in the home are from a local rug shop that we work with that have all vintage rugs. And so this one just really grounds the room here, and it brings in a nice texture, and again, brings in that character with a lot of the vintage pieces like this reclaimed coffee table as well. This art piece we actually had commissioned. It is from a local artist, and I really just feel like it brings all the colors together. It was something that the clients actually came to us, they saw when they were on vacation and loved this artist, and so we had the artist create this piece for them. Lighting is really important here. Like I mentioned earlier, there's not too many windows in this condo, and so having a lot of ample light in the space is really important. So we always like to have different layers of light. Starting from the overall lights, we have some flush mounts with the vintage lights, we have some recessed lights on dimmers, and then we also have these picture lights highlighting the bookcases and the decor. We always love flanking that too with table lamps and accents so that at nighttime you can have a little bit more of like a mood and not have all of the overhead lights on. We went with a nice soft warm white for all of the walls, and we carried that color consistently throughout the majority of the home. And this color on the bookcases has been one of my favorites. We've been doing it on a lot of millwork. It's called Intrigue by Benjamin Moore. And I really just think that what I love about it is it gives this kind of cool moodiness to the room. It changes with the different times of day. Sometimes it looks a little bit more blue, sometimes it looks a little bit more green. So I think that it's just cool to have a really nice dynamic paint color to help also ground the room and bring a richness to it. These are some of the entryway closets right when you walk down the stairs from the mudroom. And the intent for this was to really be able to maximize that space again with storage. With their kids, they each have kind of their own locker here to put away their different coats, shoes, all the miscellaneous things. It's tucked away, it's hidden in a smaller home. Having that closed storage is really important so that you can just have space for everything and not have everything cluttered around your home. One thing that we did here is we added these little keyholes in again for ventilation into the space. And part of the design originally when we saw the plans was this was gonna be a drywall wall and it was gonna be a full closet in here with a door. One thing that we decided to do is to change it to more of a European wardrobe look. One, for aesthetics, just because it looks nice and it ties in with the kitchen millwork, but two, because it does save on space and we're able to get more storage along this whole wall without having to build a whole room of a closet in. All right, welcome to the kitchen. This is our favorite room in a home to design for every project. With the kitchen, we started with the cabinetry and we worked with a local millwork shop for all of the cabinets in the entire home. And the design that we were looking for was doing this really nice nickel gap on the cabinets in a white oak finish. So we went through several different iterations, samples to really get it right and to match with this existing brick here. This wall was an exterior wall originally back in the 1900s, and it actually carries throughout the home and then down to the basement level as well. So when we saw that the brick was gonna be the backsplash here, it was more of the design intent to highlight it and to bring in different materials in the kitchen that really spoke to that and had that same rustic character into it. So part of what was another thing that we did here was originally there was a soffit and a beam here, and instead of just having plaster around them, what we did is we went to a local lumber yard and found some reclaimed wood, and we cladded all of that around to bring in a little bit more texture, bring in like another tone of wood and rusticness into the kitchen. Another thing that the clients were actually unsure of the entire time was the countertop. We always teach our clients that we talk about the different countertops of natural stones like marble, quartzite, granite, soapstone. Those are some of our favorites that we work with. And the client had actually never seen a stone that they really loved. And so we went to the stone yard place with them, and the client immediately saw this marble and fell in love. And what's really cool about it is it doesn't look like your typical marble with all the veining in it, but it actually looks like a wood, and it's actually called wood marble. One thing that we really like doing for countertops is we do a honed finish so that it doesn't etch as much. It has a little bit more of a natural organic feel to it, and it's gonna age and patina over time. That's why we really love doing natural stones and why that's something that we do in all of our projects. Another thing to bring in some texture were these pendant lights that I think just really are nice. They bring in an organic shape. They're a little bit oversized, which is fun to play with size and scale in a room. And then the last thing in the kitchen that we added in here were these black leather stools. By rotating this kitchen, originally the cabinets were here with a wall and along this back wall. By adding in an island, the clients were able to entertain, have a little bit more conversation, converse with their kids, and when they have friends and family over, this whole area is really open now for them. Another piece that we added into the kitchen was this copper sink, and it's also another living material, so it ages and patinas over time like a lot of the other materials in the kitchen. The clients cook a lot, they host a lot of friends and family and cook for their kids every night, and so having a kitchen that was really functional for them for everyday living was really important. Right off the kitchen, we have the dining room. It's open to the living room and kitchen. And here we just created a place where the clients could eat with their kids, pretty simple and minimalist here. This staircase actually was not here originally. This was part of the renovation that we did. The clients had a shared staircase in the hallway that they used with the other tenants. And for them, they wanted to be able to have a 2-level condo here. So we actually turned their basement level into part of their home too that was accessible through just their unit. So over here we used some black metal balusters and gave a couple of different shapes here with the straight and then the oval here. And then to pair with the rest of the white oak throughout the home, we have a white oak baluster and railings. Another thing that I love about this dining room is this light fixture. The clients were really excited to take some risks on a lot of the lighting, and so we have this really cool Italian fixture that just really highlights the room. I feel like it just adds that extra element to the space that gives it just a really cool, fun look. This is the hallway to the primary bedroom and office. We added this wallpaper in to bring a little bit more of an unexpected element. We don't have wallpaper in any other part of the home. A lot of it's just painted. And so we thought it added in a nice little texture and pattern into the room. This is the primary bedroom. It was pretty tight in here, and so again, we wanted to try to maximize the space in here. One thing that we did in the primary bedroom is we added this Roman clay to the wall. It brought a lot of texture into the room and also softness into their bedroom as well. We had this custom bed made and we flanked it with a couple of nightstands here. And above the bed, this was another commission piece that we have from a local artist, and it's fun because it just brings in a lot of color into the room. This was something that the clients had also seen on vacation as well, that they just loved. And for us, we really love having pieces in a client's home that just brings them joy. It speaks to a memory that they have and is something really personal. We always do linen bedding for the bedrooms. It just, even though it's a little wrinkled and sometimes a little bit, you know, fussy, it's nice because it just brings a little bit more of a casual look to the space. And it's also just really breathable and soft. And I personally love how it feels. This is probably my favorite rug in the house. This is another vintage rug from a Boston showroom that we love to go to. Probably my favorite thing in the home are these striped European wardrobes that we have in the bedroom here. We went through a few different iterations to get the stain right and to figure out the color shade of everything and how the oak was gonna blend together. What I love about these European wardrobes is maximizes the space again. We didn't have to build out a drywall closet here. We saved on the space, and each husband and wife are able to have their own separate spaces with different storage areas for jewelry, drawers, pullouts, different things like that that were added in from our mill worker. And then also on top, there's room for their luggage and for miscellaneous storage that they don't need to access all the time. We also added in these really cool knobs here. They're vintage, and what I love about them is they bring in a little bit more of that organic shape paired with the more linear striped look. This was a really fun room to design because this was originally a balcony that we turned into a sunroom. We added in this indoor-outdoor sofa just so that nothing got damaged from all the sunlight coming in here. And so it's really nice to be able to have performance fabrics that you don't have to worry about in here. We also added in this vintage rug, which is actually from our shop, the Lawless design shop that we just opened a couple weeks ago, which is nice. It brings in a lot of that blue color that you see throughout the home, but also having a soft palette with the muted earthy tones that we have as well. Because this room gets a lot of lighting, we added in these custom Roman shades that we had our local workroom make. It's just a really nice soft linen. And what I love about it is I think that it just brings in a lightness to the room that we also have with a tongue and groove ceiling. And then of course we have another vintage light in this room that we added in. This is the pantry right off the kitchen. This is a little bit more of a back of house kind of area. A lot of their appliances are in here. The clients are also avid coffee drinkers, so we wanted to have a little corner tucked away for them to be able to have their different coffee appliances and be able to have something that was hidden away instead of out in their kitchen. We added in a double oven because they like to cook a lot. And then we also have an integrated fridge in here that we love doing. I think it's really nice to have an integrated panel ready fridge so that it matches with the cabinetry. It makes it a little bit more consistent. And the paint color that we did in the pantry is the same paint color in the entryway cabinets to bring in a cohesion and a color palette into the home. We also have this pantry cabinet here, which may look a little funky because with a 1900s New England home, there are always little quirks and little challenges that come with the design and come up when you are renovating and opening different walls up. So there is actually a pipe right here because this is an exterior wall. And so we had to build this cabinet out, and it's kind of a little bit of a funky shape, but we were able to add in pantry cabinets with drawers and different compartments to be able to at least maximize that space so that it's usable space in the pantry. With the flooring, what we did is we have the same flooring throughout the home with an engineered white oak, but in the pantry, we broke it up a little bit with a herringbone pattern to add in a little bit of a uniqueness into the room. This is the basement bathroom. So when you come down the stairs in the dining room, you end up in the basement, and we created this full bathroom for them to use when they're down here. One of my favorite things about this room is the Roman clay walls. We wanted to create a room that was a little bit more of a darker, moodier kind of room. I think sometimes people want to go light and airy in a space because it's small, and they think that it's gonna make it feel a little bit bigger. But what I really like doing personally is leaning into a small room and making it feel a little bit more dark and moody. So we went with this green Roman clay on the walls. The shower, we added in this fire clay tile, and true to the project name, it is a brick. It is a ceramic, but on the floors, what we did is we have a reclaimed terracotta tile. I personally love adding in those old elements into the home that we keep talking about, and so this gave a lot of character into a brand new bathroom. Another thing that we added that I personally love is one of my favorite things is soapstone countertops. So we have that for the vanity, and we also used a bunch of different unlacquered brass finishes on the shower as well as the faucet. These sconces are some of the clients' favorites. I think that ombre is really fun to add in. And so they're a little bit oversized, again, kind of playing off of a different scale in a room. So I think that they're just fun. They bring in a little bit more of an amber glow to the room to keep with that dark and moody feel. Thanks for watching Project Brick by Brick. I gotta get home and go feed my dog Kona, but I'll see you in the next one.